The global political situation is getting more and more tense, and countries with dictatorial regimes believe they can do whatever they want. Unfortunately, we might be close to a nuclear war because countries like Iran, North Korea, and Russia have various lethal weapons in their arsenals. Hey, everyone! Welcome to our channel. Sorry to spoil the surprise right away, but there's no need to worry. So, relax. Let's just imagine what
A
would happen
situação
if North
política
Korea
mundial está
decided
se
to
tornando
use the
cada
atomic
vez mais
bomb.
tensa e
Let's
países
dive
com
in.
regimes
The
ditatoriais
atomic
pensam
bomb
que
and its
podem
mode of
fazer tudo o que bem
transportation.
entenderem.
Since 2005,
Infelizmente,
North
podemos
Korea
estar
publicly
próximos de uma
announced its
guerra nuclear,
development of an
pois
atomic
países como
bomb
Irã,
and
Coreia
conducted
do
an
Norte e Rússia
underground test
possuem
of a
diversas
hydrogen
armas
bomb in
letais em seus arsenais.
2017.
Olá,
What if Kim
pessoal!
Jong-un decided to use this bomb? Of course, we can imagine various scenarios depending on where and how many missiles they launch. Besides the United States, several countries unfriendly to North Korea are in the considered dangerous zone. Let's imagine the target of the attack being the American continent. North Korea has 3 ways to transport the nuclear warhead beyond the seas. Among them is the Hong-18 missile announced in
Causados pela
February
explosão.
2023
Vamos
and
supor que
tested
uma
in
bomba de
April and July.
250
It's the most
quilotoneladas
advanced
fosse
weapon
lançado
in
no
North
centro de
Korea
Los
and the
Angeles.
first intercontinental
A grande parte
ballistic
das
missile with
construções e
solid
edifícios
fuel.
localizados
It's
a
presumed
raio
to
de
have been developed
2,8
in
quilômetros.
collaboration with Russia. This missile can carry over 1.5 tons over a distance of 15,000 kilometers, meaning Kim Jong-un can target any location in the American continent. The impact, if the attack really happens, would be devastating. The United States would have 30 minutes or less to prepare, and the consequences would be devastating.
Bomba atômica e a maneira de transporte. Desde 2005, a Coreia do Norte anunciou publicamente
for the bomb to analyze the effects of the explosion. Let's assume a 250 kiloton bomb is dropped in the center of Los Angeles. Most buildings within a 2.8 kilometers radius of the impact site would be destroyed. People near the site would suffer from radiation, shockwaves, and even fire. After such an explosion, the center of Los Angeles
Ele é o armamento mais moderno da Coreia do Norte e o primeiro míssil balístico intercontinental de combustível sólido deles. É presumido que foi desenvolvido em conjunto com a Rússia. Esse míssil consegue transportar
third-degree burns, but they wouldn't be at risk of death. At a distance of 7.4 kilometers, buildings would still be standing, but there's a possibility of glass breaking and causing serious damage. This is due to the speed of light, which is faster than any other object. If people see the flash of light, they'll approach the windows to see or film what's happening, and at that exact moment, the glass will break due to the shockwave, and the glass shards would be extremely dangerous. If the atomic bomb were to be launched at the center of Los Angeles, it's estimated that 3,780,000 people would die and 8,601,000 people would be injured. The United States must be prepared to prevent such a disastrous situation. What do you think? At the beginning, we're in the early hours in some underground silo in North Korea. The launch of the solid-fuel Hong-18 missile is being prepared. The preparation of this missile is much more discreet than that of the liquid-fuel Hong-15 or Hong-17. Kim Jong-un must also be nearby because he loves taking photos with his weapons. Then, he orders the launch of this intercontinental missile, and it is launched from the silo at a height of 15 meters above the ground. The first engine is activated, and the missile with the nuclear warhead flies over the dark night. It's the beginning of the countdown. The missile ascends almost vertically, surpassing the resistance of the atmosphere and reaching an altitude of over 1,000 kilometers. On the other hand, the night sky is being monitored by the American military satellite with the Space Infrared System. This satellite is located in the geostationary orbit and the high elliptical orbit, capturing the heat of the missile instantly and sending that information to Earth. The missile's attack signal will be received by the 2nd Space Observation Unit at the Buckley Space Force Base in Colorado. From this moment, the satellite will continue to track the heat of the missile's path nonstop. The library of this tracking system contains all the characteristics of the missiles it has observed, including the 2 Hong-18 launches in 2023. The automated system quickly finds a corresponding data, thus discovering the launch site of the missile, possibly with a warhead, and its type. Let's assume that this warhead was not the type that separates during the boost phase. The intercontinental missile, while ascending, is an easy target due to its size and the still low speed. However, it's not possible to order interception yet because it might just be another military test and not the beginning of a nuclear war. So, the missile continues to fly without issues, and after 1 minute, the first engine is released. After another minute, the second engine is released, and after 3 minutes, the third engine is released. By this point, the President of the United States and the Central Command of the American Army already have information about the possible attack. However, it's still not possible to confirm that it's indeed an attack. Therefore, the American Army and its allies can only analyze the missile's flight situation and collect data about it. It's necessary to uncover the truth behind the threat and determine the target of the attack. On the American Navy warship, the multifunctional Aegis and Spy-1 system radar is monitoring the sky. In South Korea and Japan, the Terminal High Altitude Area Defense (THAAD) ballistic missile defense system is ready for combat. In Guam and Hawaii, similar systems are also in place. These missile systems can shoot down a missile entering the atmosphere but cannot intercept a missile flying through space in the midcourse phase. After releasing the 3 engines, the warhead will fly over space for about 30 minutes toward the American continent. Meanwhile, in Alaska, Massachusetts, and the PAVE-PAWS radar, capable of detecting targets within a 2,000 kilometers radius, is in operation. The SBX-1 radar, the sea-based X-band radar, is also monitoring the sky. Despite belonging to the Adak Island in Alaska, this radar is located somewhere in the Pacific Ocean. Additionally, the 3-engine solid-fuel GBI anti-ballistic missile is also on standby. This missile can launch the Kinetic Energy Interceptor, EKV, at an altitude of 2,000 kilometers. This interceptor will be responsible for shooting down the North Korean warhead. Another 44 interceptors, similar to those described so far, are positioned in silos in Alaska and California, covering practically the entire American continent. The success probability of intercepting the EKV in space is 55%. So, the Aegis THAAD and Mi-104 Patriot systems are responsible for the defense of the West Coast in the terminal phase. The missile's flight time will depend on its target. The estimated time for the missile to reach Anchorage is 29 minutes, New York is 40 minutes and 30 seconds, and Washington is 41 minutes. But since this missile is flying towards Los Angeles, the estimated time is 38 minutes. The missile employs various countermeasures avoiding its interception. 30 minutes have passed since the missile was launched. The EKV heads towards the missile and ends up deviating from the target. The second attempt also fails, and finally, on the third attempt, the missile is hit and destroyed into pieces. Thank God, a nuclear explosion has been successfully avoided. However, this is just the beginning. Kim Jong-un will have to bear the responsibilities of his own decision. Normally, to declare war, Parliament's approval is needed, but a nuclear attack is an exception. For this reason, the President of the United States can order the use of nuclear weapons without consulting anyone about his decision. However, most of the time, the President consults with the Defense Minister, the Army Command, or some specialist. If the President is in the White House, these situations are discussed in the Operations Center. Otherwise, they are discussed through a secure line. As there isn't much time, a decision is made in just 30 seconds. The President decides not to retaliate to a nuclear attack to avoid a large-scale war. However, military operations are inevitable. Soon, the North Korean military base will end up in ruins, and it's very likely that North Korea itself will collapse once and for all. Phew, thank goodness we won this. Today's video ends here. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. As you know, this is just a simulation. So far, no one has launched any atomic bombs, and the likelihood of something like that happening is lower than many other disasters. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and share it with your friends. We appreciate the support. It's time to say goodbye, but don't worry too much about things, I promise. We'll see each other again soon. Until then.